If you're ready to go, I'm ready to go.
I'm ready to go.
Are you ready to go?
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
We are back with the most wonderful time of the year.
It's not Christmas, but it's almost Christmas.
It's Modern Horizon spoiler season.
Yeah.
The season where every group chat is exploding. Everyone has wild theories, and most of them are probably right because all of the cards are pretty crazy.
Absolutely. From the experience with the previous two sets, the Modern Horizons appearance has always had a significant impact on Duel Commander and any other format mostly, since it seems these sets were designed to warp magic overall. And today we are only looking on legendary creatures. The spoilers are not yet finished, and there are tons of cards we could rate and talk about, and maybe we will do that.
Yeah.
But today we will focus on legendary creatures only, starting with
Eladamri. Is this no, it's not the first Eladamri print, right? There's like a really old one.
There's a very old legendary for double green.
Yeah.
It's okay. I think it's an elf lord. Like, really, I'm not sure if it's also...
All elves gain forest walk. Elves cannot be the target of spells and abilities.
Okay, it's an elf lord. Yeah. So not too funky in terms of Duel Commander. If we look at the new 3-mana Eladamri, it has 3 toughness. Ooh, good. It's not bolt-proof. It's fine, but it's not bolt-proof. You can look at the top card of your library. You can cast creature spells from the top. That's not too bad. But the activated ability is what it makes it interesting. Tapping in total 3 creatures is a bit of a heavy cost to me. But you can put a card from either your top of your library or your hand onto the battlefield. So that card screams for Elf Ball or something similar.
Yeah. Finding a way to use all the mana you probably just rammed into, besides just casting cards from the top of your library, is pretty good. And also those creatures don't have to be unsummoning sick, summoning healthy.
Correct.
So you can also just, if you have like 5 mana, you can cast your second dork and then tap him and the 2 creatures and you're already good to go. So,
yeah.
Might be a little bit clunky. Maybe if they start printing crazy elf magic, this gets a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's quite an interesting card, I think.
Definitely. We will probably see it in a couple of lists as a 99.
Yeah.
Not so much as a commander itself, but I think there's room for it, depending. The problem here is that this one has a great interaction with Worldly Tutor, for example, and other tutors maybe, but you have to have the good card in hand in order to make use of it. And then again, it's tapping 3 creatures in total, which is not
quite a steep cost.
It's quite a steep cost, exactly. Yeah. So we will see. Maybe some people will experiment with it. I like it. Looks cool. Making
very low cost for cheating a big creature is usually pretty good, but also usually mostly reserved for fun decks.
Yeah, true. I mean,
like cheating creatures besides reanimating them hasn't been the greatest game plan in Duel Commander. Maybe this is about to change with this guy.
The thing is that
I wouldn't bet on
most green creatures. Like, if we start to play Titan of Industries and Woodfall Primus in this very deck, it's still only the best that mono green could bring up, right? The impactful cards. Reanimator is going to kill you with are called Archon and Lord of Change and stuff like this. So let's see. I like it. Worth to mention. Let's hop over to Imskir Iron Eater.
Yeah, even better than cheating creatures with lower mana cost from your hand into the battlefield is just having cost-reducing commanders.
Yay. We love it. as we just had the experience with Eris, actually, not easier. How could we forget? It's not that long ago. Yeah, this one again. Rakdos Colors is a good environment for artifact stuff. The first time I saw it, it remembered me of the Dargo Tevesh brews back in the days. Goes in a similar direction. The ETB is quite strong. Also, the activated ability is good. The body is good. And the set itself brings not that much support for affinity, but it adds up a few more cards in order to have a decent 100. And I'm pretty sure people will experiment with this commander, and we will see it every now and then.
Yeah. I don't think it will be like, what's the Merfolk called again? The blue guy that's banned.
Thrasios.
No.
Tassa's Oracle. It's the next one.
No. Blue mana, 1/2, tap it to cast an artifact from your graveyard.
You mean Emry.
Emry, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it will not be Emry.
Apparently, we have a lot of Merfolks banned in Duel Commander, it seems.
Maybe they just hate them.
Maybe. Let's get over to the first banger.
Yeah, this is definitely both in 99 and in the command zone.
It will be
pretty good card.
Yes. We have the third Titan in our format or in Magic overall. I think many people have or were looking forward for Wizards designing more Titans. Here it is. Yeah. And again, we have something with 3 damage or like something around 3, gaining life, drawing cards, stealing damage whatsoever. Yeah, in Boros colors, as you said, will be an auto-include in any deck that features Boros.
Probably, yeah. Maybe in the super aggressive decks, this might not find a place.
Yeah, that's true. But even then, I mean, this one gives you quite a nice ceiling for the longer game, right?
Yeah, it's good reach if you need it.
Exactly. As a commander, it's even more interesting, I think. So when you think about it, oh Jesus, how was the recently printed Unearth for mono white is called again?
White Unearth.
Exactly.
That's what I call it.
The one from Ixalan, that brings the creature.
Helping Hand.
Helping Hand, correct, yeah. And then I think there are 2 more. So you could do something like this. It would be interesting to have a mid-rangey build around it with some interaction. You could also go for a more Staxy build with all the CMC2 creatures that deny ETB abilities. So you just play a 6/6 for 3 mana, and then on attack you have the Lightning Helix. And these days there are, I think, 4 or 5 creatures even that have this ability.
Yeah.
So
I think people tried that back then with Croxa and also with Uro.
Mm-hmm.
And they never really ended up in the lists in the final ones. But with this, it's a creature, so it's way better already.
Yeah.
And you probably won't have a lot of other cards that you cannot play because of this, if you play like a mid-rangey build.
Yeah.
Besides maybe the initiative cards, where you probably want your anti-battlefield abilities, but maybe you can sequence around that.
True.
So, yeah. What I could also imagine this being a pretty control-ish build, just because you have removal in your command zone and life gain, and then you just play removal and board wipes and stuff like that, and that fills your graveyard enough. Maybe even playing some land destruction spells.
That would be cool. That would be
I'm
really,
just
really
coping,
cool.
But I want to play Burning of Xingye again, which is probably not
fair
the place
enough. Fair enough. So, guys, that's the call. You will see some Boros Lanterns destruction on our channel. finally, you're home to Ravages of War and Armageddon.
Yeah.
Either way, it's another deck for Faithless Looting. I love the card. Will definitely find its way into this one too. Okay. Next up, we have almost a forgotten card in the command zone. At least in terms of Duel Commander. It's not your favorite card. It's pretty sure it's amongst the most favorite cards of Samuel, because he's a lands aficionado, and we have the Necrobloom, which first brings plants tokens, and later on it produces zombies. What do you think about it?
Well, it's both, I think, pretty good on its own. Like the 2/7 stats are usually pretty good at keeping the defense. The 4 mana cost is kind of restrictive. I think CMC4 commanders usually need like an enter the battlefield ability at the moment in the format. Or some kind of ward or something. So that's like the only thing that really speaks against it. Dredging lands is always great. Especially just like as a static ability. And then having both the plant tokens to do some shenanigans with, maybe like Skull Clamp, for example, and then the zombie tokens to just overrun your opponent once you get enough of them into play is pretty good.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I think this will be probably pretty mid-rangey. You probably have to play a bunch of good stuff around this.
The thing is you have white added to the Gidrock deck, quote unquote, which makes it much easier in terms of interaction, like much higher quality. And also you have cards like Felida Retreat, for example, which synergize very well with your overall game plan. Like you produce the tokens and then you buff the tokens, or you make more tokens to accelerate your game overall. The thing that you mentioned, that it's a 4-drop, actually, since it has no ETB, it's a 5-drop, because you need to go for the landfall. So yeah. I think it would be a bit too boosted for 3 mana. Fun fact here, you can Stern Scolding it, because it has 2 power. But apart from that, if it isn't for Fatal Push, it's pretty much resistant against any cheap removal that's currently played, even Lithomantic Barrage, which would trigger here, but 5 damage isn't enough for the 7 toughness plant. But pretty cool card. I like it.
Yeah, it will be fun, I think.
Yeah, I like to see the return of lands, the archetype overall. So far, we had only Soul of Windgrace as a Valakut deck, which is cool, but it's not good enough.
And we really try to make that work, right?
Yes.
A lot of people in our community put a lot of effort into that deck. But
and I mean, there is Xbot who is very passionately running the deck, and he has put a lot of hours into the deck and also playing the deck. And I think he still struggles to maybe he's also not that active currently. I don't know exactly, but yeah, it's difficult to get some good results in the current metagame. So maybe the Necrobloom will change that for the lands archetype.
We'll see.
We will see.
Which we will not see, which we'll see a lot, but also we don't have to see if it works.
Is Nadu, which I've already heard some people claim is the best commander that has ever been printed. That's an interesting statement. If you look at the card, it's absolutely nuts. I have no idea when this review will come out, but within the last days, we've already revealed a bitzelberg regarding that. I've put together a combo variant. I've played it, tested it against a couple of decks. It feels absolutely stupid and overpowered, and I don't really think this card will stick too long. But on the other hand, I can't really imagine that there will be an emergency ban for this card, as we've never received any emergency bans for any card, I think.
Wasn't there one for Lotus?
I think.
Or was it just good lineup with the bans?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was just lucky timing, yeah. But yeah. Yeah, it's a wizard in a Modern Horizon set. And that's usually not too good for our format.
I mean, The ability is already quite good. And it would probably be an interesting commander. Like, I would have invited you to the Tempo Club again, and we could have been brewing with some Simic commander if it was only 2 times a turn for any creature, or for in total, I mean.
Yeah.
But this way, it enables a combo with Skewed Swarm, and you have the 0 mana equipments and all that stuff. So that's quite insane. And because that's not enough to have the Simic bird that's steering up the format, we also got a new Boros commander. Apart from the Titan.
But that color kind of needed, right? It's been a while since Boros aggro has been in the
Martin directly slapping Yoshi players right away.
Oh, true.
Yeah, it's mostly
but it's Yoshi.
Boros,
It's mostly played
or like
Boros,
with a
right?
green splash with Tana.
Yeah, that's true. Okay,
but this one I think is up to its level, to be honest. Yeah, Ajani, 2 mana, bringing a token with it. The lists I've seen so far are really focused on playing some mock fanatic effects in order to flip it as fast as possible. And if you look at the backside, it's quite powerful. So, and also there was like a mythic cat spoilered. I don't know the name. It's like a 1/1 lifelink and it has a bunch of text. So there might be even a couple of cool cats you can add to the deck in order to synergize with the +1 ability or +2 ability. So yes, we will see how that turns out.
I don't know how I forgot about yours.
It happens.
That's all I'm thinking about right
Yeah,
now.
remember last time we talked about when we had the talk, the cast on the top 8 gameplay, and I forgot about Gerson being a relevant Izzet commander. It's like, well, to be fair, here in Darmstadt, people are not that much into aggressive decks. So we have a bit of Light Paws, which is more like a combo deck to me, to be honest, right?
Yeah.
But like not that many players running Yoshi, for example, or Balmor, and Balmor is outdated, I would say, at least. But
talking about decks that are not aggressive and also can be kind of combo-ish,
we have the Aetherflux Genius.
An artificer.
Just when you said Wizards is going to print more wizards, it's sometimes also the artificers can be dangerous. I don't know. Wizard was an artificer, right? Or is an artificer?
Was he? I thought he was a wizard.
I think it was an artificer. Either way, Satya is quite cool. This one is from the commander set, by the way. It's not from the main set, but still, as you've seen, the set is doing a lot around energy tokens, and this one is pretty.
It's an artificer.
Okay, cool. I think this one is the first command zone that's relevant to our format that deals with the energy ability.
Yeah, that's true. We could have never played Zaheli, which would have probably been pretty good.
Right.
But that one also did not have energy. No, that was just in the color dish set. But yeah. I don't think there has, like, besides cards that just use their own energy, there never has been really, like, any energy cards that really saw play in our format. I remember you guys played some in your Tamiyo Aqua deck.
Basically only Voltaic Brawler. The one that's right, I think that's the only card that was ever played. Or maybe there was another one, but it's in Saskia you saw it sometimes because it can become a 4/3 with trample due to the energy counter.
Yeah.
Oh no, never mind. For the Zergo players back in the days, there was Latno Helion. The 3/4/4 that you have to pay energy in order to not sacrifice it. Maybe there were a couple of cards, but not very influential on Duel Commander overall. And well, you see the color combination. We have Aragon as a very well represented deck. Jeskai color combination is very good. You have lots of good creatures there. The initiative creatures, if I think about the lineup, turn 3, White Plume into turn 4, Satya, and you just copy the White Plume, get another trigger. That's
going through all the
that's
turn.
quite pathetic. But you have other cards, utility cards, Skyclave Apparition. Then Steve found a combo with Eomer, which is like a small combo. Eomer is like a 4/4 legendary. If another legendary creature dies, you get an extra combat step, and then you can first sack the token, and afterwards make another token, and then sack the original, and then you get 3 combat steps, which add up to 21 damage if nothing is blocked. So there are a couple of cool interactions around that. I'm very, very sure we'll see this card on field, simply because it's cool to play with energy cards, energy counters, and yeah, it's a good card. Menace Haste, 3/5. Why not?
Good color combination.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a round thing. Last but not least,
we have a new kind of mono blue commander.
Kind of mono blue.
On the back there is like green written on it. Not sure if I would play this card. I would play a lot of green cards.
Why did you choose this? No.
Well, because it's a 1-drop in blue, right? And if you play a draw go style and you have a 1-drop in your command zone, that already helps you quite a lot. This also blocks. This blocks a Yoshi.
In the first turn,
This blocks in the first turn, right? This blocks the 2/2, the red guy. What's he called again? The wrong red commander at the moment. Feldon. So, as we saw in Baral, right? Baral stonewalled quite a few of the aggressive, the first turn creatures. And then, at some later turn, you find a way to draw 3 cards in a turn, with maybe cracking a clue that you created on the way. And then you have a pretty okay-ish planeswalker. And all of that for 1 mana.
Yeah.
Like, the investment is very, very low. And from what I've seen, like, mono blue decks usually, at the moment, turn around, like, playing large draw spells on instant speed and generating value that way. So, like, the impact from the command zone hasn't been very important. So I think just having some kind of, not a tempo play, but like a little bit of a tempo play that also is kind of in the value engine in the early turns is not that bad. I think, at least if I would be really into mono blue, I would definitely try this out for a few weeks or days, depending on how bad it goes.
I mean, I'm with you. I'm interested, or I'm curious about the fact that you have the green splash and what you can do with it. I was just thinking about you could, in theory, play Mystic Snake and the other one, the 3/2, stuff like this. Just because you have green, you can play Growth Spiral, for example. A lot of interesting cards you can add. You can play Oko, which is a fine card. So yeah. Or maybe that's an understatement, but I think it's good. Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, you draw cards, not directly. I've recently played the Kellen, it's called. It's the Simic dude that produces a clue token, and you can play an additional land within an adventure. And then the normal one is like a 3/4 that destroys an artifact on attack, and if it's your artifact, you draw a card. So just because we're on the investigate ability here, that was quite a cool commander, to be honest. You had a couple of things you can play, like the undestructible lands, artifact lands, and target those and have a free draw and stuff. So I think it's not, and it's not that much of a downside to pay the mana in order to draw the cards. Most often you can do it. What I think it's a bit difficult is to have the drawing 3 cards in a turn, because that would require like your usual draw, you crack the token, and you have a cantrip on top, and then you have spent 3 mana and might not have any mana to interact with your opponent, depending on when you.
I think this will be, maybe most of the time this will be flipped end of turn of your opponent's turn. You just.
But how do you make sure? Like just by playing.
Just having 6 mana, right? Like in like a Tivit deck, this would happen quite often.
Okay.
Of course, you don't have the board wipes here, but like just end of turn, like doing like a 4-mana draw 2 spell into like another 1-mana cantrip, like an Opt or Consider, that happens quite often. So I don't think that's too unrealistic.
That might be the case. Once, okay, that's a...
Sadly, the Land Cycler don't trigger this because it's not a draw. That would be pretty good.
You mean the channel lens? Yeah.
No, not the channel lens. The like, what's the Lorien Revealed and stuff like that.
Ah, right. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but also Brainstorm just triggers it on its own.
Yeah, that's cool. That's very cool. There might be other cards.
And what's also pretty good about this is that the ultimate is pretty strong, drawing half your deck and removing hand size.
Absolutely, yeah.
And you can, because it's a +2 and it starts with 3, you can trigger it. If you flip it end of turn, you can trigger it pretty easily in 3 turns. You just need to protect it for 2 turns with like full mana up.
Yeah, right.
And also your opponent's creatures having -1, -0. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the -3 is not too bad either. Getting back some relevant cards, maybe Cyclonic Rift for the 3rd time, something like this. Annoying your opponent until you finally draw some cards to win the game. We will see. I'm sure people will also experiment with that one. I mean, we could spend the rest of the year just trying out Modern Horizons 3 cards, I think. Or especially Commander cards.
Luckily, the format has quite a few players that will all try all the cards separate from each other. And this way we get a lot of data and a lot of information about the cards. And we will probably find out what's broken way earlier than if we would just sit alone in our rooms and try by ourselves.
The power of the hive mind. Okay.
So yeah, looking forward to the set.
Absolutely.
Looking forward to trying some new things out. Looking forward to the discussions in the rules committee chat going absolutely crazy.
Yes, I expect that to happen.
Maybe our ban list becoming a little bit longer.
Yeah. Or maybe not, because the power level is just fine. Like in an environment where so many new cards are just created, maybe it creates like a sub-meta game where people like it won't be like this, but just a theoretical approach where most of the current meta decks will be put aside and we will create a new MH3 meta game, because all the cards within MH3 are at a certain or a high level.
And then we unban like 50 cards.
That would be kind of cool. Yeah. I doubt it will happen, but that would be cool.
Yeah.
There are definitely a few cards to debate about. But that's not today's topic. So I don't want to steal any more of your time.
Thank you for watching.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen.
And enjoy the new set.
Yes, enjoy it. Maybe you will hear a second time from us if we decide to talk about the most fancy 1 of 99s. There's so many cards, as I said. We could talk a week about MH3 spoilers. But that's for it now.
Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.
See you next one. Bye-bye.